Sagittarius, it is time to get this party started. Here is your aligned astro chat for September. Shalom all, I'm Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive, and welcome to your Transformational Tarot reading for September. And this is all part of my Black Feather Couture Defining a VIP Life series. Sagittarius, this is going to be a really incredible month for you guys, but I feel like it's going to be the kind of month where you have to kind of choose to take it by the balls. Otherwise, all of that goodness is going to just go away to someone else. So without further ado, we are going to be pulling an overarching theme card from the Spiritual Awakening Oracle from Dr. Erin Fall Haskell. And the deck that called to me for you guys today was the Tarot Decoratif, and this is a Ciro Marchetti deck. So let's get to it. Okay, so yeah, definitely feeling some big things coming your way. I want to say this is, I want to say, a long time in coming for you, but also not something that is like that you're entitled to, which is why I feel like you're the one who's going to have to kind of take it. And I feel like it might be something where it shows up, but it might need to be dusted off a little bit. It might need to be cleaned up. There might be some brambles and vines around it, but it doesn't mean that it's not useful. It doesn't mean that it's not still what you want. I just feel like there's going to be a little bit of work. It's kind of like, how badly do you want it? So let's see what your overarching theme is. The law of immortality. Time is only of the essence for your full expression. Oh, I love that. So feeling very much that when I say, you know, like taking life by the balls or taking these opportunities and really making them your own, I feel that's exactly what this is about. You know, this is a time for you to really take advantage of the opportunities that are going to be presenting themselves to you so that you can be in the full expression of yourself. Again, I feel like it's a long time in coming. Not to say that you've been, you know, suppressed for a really long time, but I do feel that the last few months have been emotionally taxing. And I feel like there's been a lot of navigation around emotions in order to kind of show up and function in the day-to-day. And so with these opportunities that are coming up, I know you would like for them to just kind of fall into your lap and be easy. But I want to say anything worth having is worth putting in a little bit of effort, right? So just kind of keep your eye on the prize with that. So this is you in the present moment. Where are you at right now in your transformational journey? What part of you is shifting, rising, or dissolving? So we have La Roue de Fortune. So of course, this is the Wheel of Fortune. And I feel very much that this is an excellent depiction of where you're at. You guys have either been in Harry Potter's Liquid Luck, where everything is just going exactly tickety-boo the way that you want it to, or it's the polar opposite where, you know, it doesn't matter what you do, everything is going to go wrong and going to fall apart. And so I feel like when we're talking about this energy for you in the present moment, it's important for you right now to recognize that you are going to be shifting out of this. And even though there are these sort of two disparate paths that you can take, it's reminding yourself that you have the power to choose what path that is. You know, we don't have choice in what the Wheel of Fortune presents to us, but we always have choice in how we respond or react to it. I'm really drawn to the hare in this particular card for you right now. And I feel like the hare is coming up. You know, the rabbit, the hare, I'm thinking the tortoise and the hare. You know, the hare goes super fast. The tortoise goes slower. And in the end, you know, the hare is so busy, like, come on, like, let's do this and whatever. I'm going to beat you and I'm going to beat your ass and blah, blah, blah. And so he dilly-dallies. You know, he's like, oh, I got this. This is in the bag. And so he gives up, in essence, right? He's too cocky about it. And then in the end, the tortoise wins the freaking race after all of that. And the hare is just like completely shocked. How did that happen? You went so slow, and I should have won this race. I should have won this race. I feel very much like when we're talking about that hair energy, this is something that you're really dissolving. This is something that you really want to dissolve, is this idea that I've got to get to a particular place at a particular time. I've got to be moving forward. I've got to be bulldozing. I'm not where I'm supposed to be. Drive, 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 drive. I'm feeling here very, very clearly that this is something that is going to be dissolving away in this month, that it's going to be more of the energy of not tortoise exactly, but maybe the bunny that stops and smells the roses a little bit. I'm seeing in my mind's eye the Knight of Pentacles, understanding that, yeah, you're on a path, you're on the roll, but the goal is not the destination is not the goal. It's the journey to get there. There's something that you are in the process of learning in a really big way, a big life lesson that you are learning right now. But if you're taking the stairs 2 or 3 steps at a time, you're missing the information, the important knowledge and learning that is required with each step. And I feel like that's why this Wheel of Fortune is coming up for you, because it's saying you can go either way. Life is bringing you all sorts of different opportunities, but we want you to not run for the hills or be impulsive about the choices that you're making. We want you to actually be a little more intentional about where you're going and the directions that you're choosing. 10s are new beginnings based on an already established foundation. And I feel like that's what this is. You've been craving new. In fact, you've been throwing some spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks in order to try and find something new that you can pursue. But as a result of that, I feel like you've been missing the message. This is the month to get the message. What is the catalyst here? What's fueling or hindering your transformation? And is this resistance or is it rocket fuel? So 5 of deniers. So this is 5 of pentacles, 5 of coins. Again, so fast that you're not actually seeing what is in your present moment, what is in your now that can help you, that can support you. Again, I feel like this is lessons to be learned, but you keep missing the lesson, like you're trying to skip over the lesson. And for some of you, I feel like there is some intentional distraction, some intentional, I won't think about that today, I'll think about that tomorrow. But for a lot of you, I feel like you're not even aware that you're missing these lessons that are available to you simply because you've been in go, go, go mode for so long, you don't even know how to stop and just take a day to pause and sit and breathe. You know, I'm hearing here, this would be a great month for you to do a little bit of a social media detox, right? Not being so connected to technology, and instead being more organic, going out, connecting with people, having face-to-face contact, face-to-face interactions, getting away from the to-do list for a little bit. It's not so much about vacation, because again, that would be another distraction. But I do feel like it's removing the distractions so that you can get really clear about what it is that you're wanting to create for yourself in this life. This month, I feel, is not going to allow you to get away with distraction and diversion, so to speak. And I don't mean to be giving you like a tisk tisk, you know, like shame on you, tisk tisk. I feel like this is a little bit of a tough love from the universe saying, hey, there are things that you need to do. There are places that you need to be. And you're missing it because you're just like so singular focused. You know, my mother calls me a dog with a bone. You know, I can get hyper focused on something. Dog with a bone. That's what this feels like. The universe is saying you're a dog with a bone right now. So like, just drop the bone. Just drop the bone and sit for a minute. Sit and look around. Sit and listen to your inner guidance, because your inner guidance has something that it really wants you to hear. But you're moving so fast and going so fast that you're not stopping to take the time to actually listen to it. Deep root. What deep belief, wound, or soul contract is driving this transformation under the surface? Three of Cups. Yes. So the soul contract, I feel like for some of you, there has been a person or people that have been influencing you in a way that pulls you left of center, that pulls you out of your centered space, not groundedness, centeredness. And I feel like there's a part of you that wants to kind of like run off with the circus, right? You want to run off and be part of the dancing troupe, and to just, let loose and have fun and be fancy free, and to not have to think about all the things and the stuff. But I feel like the more you do this, the further and further away you get from your ultimate goals. And I do feel that this is a month where you're going to feel, like I said, they're not going to let you get away with it. You're going to feel either like some level of guilt, or you're going to have some consequence around procrastination of things that need to get done. I'm just hearing in my head, using this as an analogy, farting around so much that, you've got this big bill to pay at the end of the month, and you need to take on some extra shifts, for example, or that you need to conserve your money and not go out, 5 nights of the week. But every night when you're faced with it and you look at it and you go, okay, well, I need to do this or this or this, and then you choose to make the decision to go out, well, there's going to be a consequence for that. And I feel like that's what this is about, is it's like an encouragement for you to look at the why you're trying to distract yourself so much. What is it that you're trying to avoid feeling or to avoid experiencing? And for some of you, I feel like you're avoiding a particular person. I want to say like a third of you, I feel like this is around a particular person, a particular issue that you have with one person. And there's wounding there. There's pain there. But you're distracting yourself from that. And I want to say the only way out is through. You got to feel the pain in order to get on the other side of it. For another third of you, I feel like this is really connected to your work situation. And maybe you're a little detached from the fulfillment of the job, feeling a little bit like everything is Groundhog Day and by rote. And I would say if that's really how you feel, it might be time to look for another job, because at the end of the day, we all need to work in order to pay our bill. Well, most of us need to work in order to pay our bills, right? So unless you're retired or independently wealthy, you got to work. This is just kind of the way that it is. So I feel very much like for you, Sagittarius, it's important to really kind of do a little deep dive to see why you are distracting yourself so much. That other third, I feel, is kind of like a hodgepodge of things. So just FYI, I didn't forget that there's another third of you out there that, when I give you the, the 2/3, it's kind of like, well, what about that? What about that last third? What is dying away? What part of you is falling away right now? And what role, pattern, or identity has run its course? Well, we've kind of talked about that a little bit here, the distraction. But okay, I feel like it's not being true to yourself. Part of this distraction is I feel like, you're running away from another person, but ultimately I feel like you're running away from your own feelings, and your own feelings are your own. Nobody else is responsible for your feelings. And I want to say to you, feelings are neither true nor false. They simply are. And so maybe that's the approach that you want to take here, as you're looking at it, is giving yourself permission to do the deep dive and to do the hard look. It's never fun for us to look in the mirror when we've got shame and blame, or when we're angry with ourselves or beating ourselves up for a choice that we're not proud of. But I want to say to you, September is the month where you can move through it. And I want to say the sooner you face it, the sooner you're able to move through it. And I'm hearing for most of you, it's not as bad as you think it is. Like you're building it up in your mind to be something that is just so horrific But at the end of the day, when you just get it out, it's kind of like, okay, it resolves itself. And, no, it's not going to necessarily be the most comfortable thing you've ever done. But I don't feel like that's a reason to stop you from doing it. I feel also here, like when we're talking about what is dying away, I feel like you're really getting tired of having to kind of wear the mask. And PS and FYI, we all have a mask. We all wear masks out and about in the world. So this isn't me saying to you, you're being inauthentic. It's more like we wear masks, certain masks, to protect ourselves from other people. Certain masks allow us to, keep a portion of ourselves private. Not everybody in the world is worthy and deserving of getting into our innermost thoughts and feelings, right? But I want to say, I feel like you wearing the mask has become a bit of a crutch, and it's exhausting. It's exhausting. And I feel like this is the invitation to stop running from that. Take the mask off, look at the real you. This is a card of integrity. Neo is in the background just raring. So apparently he agrees. But no, I want to wear the mask. But I feel like when you take the mask off, like there's fear around it. But when you take the mask off, there's deep relief. Almost to the point where a lot of you aren't even going to realize until you've taken the mask off just how much energy you've been putting into that mask. It takes a lot for us to hold back parts of ourselves, right? And I'm not judging you for it. I'm just saying it's time now to move out of this. Like, you don't need to be doing this anymore. This is not the experience that you need to be having anymore. You're moving beyond it. You've outgrown it, I guess is how I would put that. This is your highest phoenix potential. What can rise from the ashes? What is your soul calling you toward? This is your breakthrough energy. Oh, interesting. So Queen of Pentacles, Reine de Denier. So interesting. I was talking to you about the Knight of Pentacles. I feel like now that we've got the Queen of Pentacles, she's the delegator. She's the organizer. She's the one that has all of her ducks in a row. She's the one that you go to when you do need something, because she's guaranteed going to have it. And not only is she going to have it and gracious about sharing it with you, she's also going to take it a step further and teach you how to be able to do it for yourself. And I feel like this is what you're getting ready to step into, is this energy of learning how to sustain yourself during this transition. And I feel like there's a big transition, a big transformation that you are in right now. And that's part of why I feel all of this distraction is happening, because you know that this transition is going to require some big change, like conscious change on your part. And whenever that conscious change comes up, it usually means that, you've got to learn something new, or you've got to let go of something or someone in your life. And again, no judgment, just feeling like there's a part of you that's feeling a bit emotionally tender. And you're like, I don't want to have to go through that. I don't want to have to experience that. I want to just have fun. I don't want to have to do the deep dive. I'm tired of that. I've been doing that so much. I don't want to do it. But I feel like wherever you go, there you are. And there's no way else out but through. So Queen of Pentacles, I feel, is coming up here in this highest Phoenix potential to say, we can put structure around this. We can organize your deep dive in such a way that you don't lose yourself in it, that you don't burn yourself out. This isn't about self-flagellation. This isn't about you beating yourself up over and over and over again. This is more about, what is the lesson? Because if I don't learn this lesson, I'm just going to keep repeating the cycle. And I'm not feeling fulfilled in that cycle. I'm not feeling good about all this. Yeah, I'm having fun. It's the instant gratification that lasts about 30 seconds. And then I'm on to the next. then I'm waiting for the next, then I'm looking for the next. It's almost like an addict, looking for the fix. Not a healthy dynamic to be in or to stay in, right? I'm giving you extreme examples here. I'm not saying all of you are running around acting like you're addicts, but you really want to do a deep dive to see where some of this is landing. And if I'm saying this and it's triggering you, definitely the wound is alive. The wound is exposed. And just trust and know that it's exposed so that you can move through it. That's what I feel September is about for you, giving yourself permission to heal. What's emerging just around the corner? What energy or experience is coming in to support the next phase? King of Cups, Roi de Coupe. Okay, or sorry, de Coupe. Interesting. So the very thing that you're avoiding is the very thing that you'll be mastering. This is the path that you're on, the path of mastery around the emotional space, but taking it in a way that feels a bit passive. And again, I feel like that's why there's a lot of this distraction for you, because you're tired of putting a lot of action into the deep dive, into the checkup from the neck up. But on the other side of this, I feel that there's going to be that passive piece, that comfortability in how you are feeling. It's time to get back into your true feelings. I'm not talking about the superficial, I'm doing this and I feel this way doing this, or I'm doing that and I feel this way doing that. This is more it's the deep, it's the emotional component. You're dealing 100% here with an emotional state. And I feel that this is achievable. Again, this is what is emerging for you. But it's going to be a really freaking painful birth if you're in resistance mode. So I feel like this is one of those things where you got to kind of just dive on in. You got to rip the Band-Aid off. You got to do the work. Otherwise, you're just going to be in can you imagine just being in labor all the time? Like you're in labor for 2 years. Ugh, no. We gotta move past that. You in this process, how are you navigating this transformation? Are you resisting, flowing, grieving, or boldly rising? 8 of Cups. So interesting. Again, you're walking away. You're not facing your feelings. You're not facing your emotions. And I feel like this is just reiterating everything that we've said. It's time to really just do the deep dive. And I want to say you're not alone in this. Call in your friends, call in your support team to say, I don't know what it is that I'm not figuring out. I'm avoiding a lot of different things. I really need your support. Like whether it's, please don't call me 4 times a week to go out. Let's just go out once and call it a day. Or I'm really needing to clean up my finances and I really could use your support, because when I know you guys are going out and doing all this fun stuff, then I just want to be a part of it. So, the FOMO. So instead, can we make a plan to, go out on this day, and then you guys just don't tell me all the other stuff of where you're going. I don't want to know for, the next month or the next 2 months until I'm able to, clean up my finances or whatever. So these are just examples here, but don't be afraid to ask for help. Sometimes when we are triggered, when we've got, deep wounds, or we've been in a cycle and a pattern for so long that we don't even see the pattern, right? It can be disheartening. It can be really overwhelming. So ask for the help, because walking away from it just delays what really needs to occur, right? Which is a rebalancing of your emotional state. Truth. you feeling connected to yourself and to source energy. Okay. Wow. Circles of support. Who or what is influencing your transformation right now? And is it a positive or negative influence? Yeah, so many cups. So many cups. You got to face your emotions. Got to face those emotions, Sagittarians. So 6 of Cups. So circles of support. Yes, leaning on your soul family. Leaning on experiences from the past that can inform you that no matter what you're going to face moving forward, you'll get through it because you've gotten through worse. And that's what I feel this is. Yeah, it's an emotional deep dive. There's stuff that you got to get through. But I feel like when you actually get onto the other side of it, you're going to say, oh, wow, it wasn't as bad as I thought. It wasn't all the things that I thought it was going to be. And so I delayed myself. I got stuck in the past. I delayed myself for so long when really, like, now that I'm on the other side of it, I kind of wish I had done that sooner. I feel also like there are going to be 2 particular individuals in your life that are going to be really pivotal to reminding you of who you are at your core, because I feel like there's a part of you that's kind of lost in the shuffle. And these are the individuals that I feel are going to kind of bring you back to center, right? They're going to remind you, no, this is who you really are. Like, this is all, distractions, smoke and mirrors, but I know you. This is where your heart is at. This is what you really want. Why aren't you going for it? Why aren't you leaning into that? Why aren't you taking that course? Why aren't you making that phone call? Why aren't you apologizing to that person so you can let yourself out of this, emotional prison that you're keeping yourself in? This is about bringing harmony and balance to your emotional state. And I love that this falls in your circles of support. So you do have people around you. You may have to open up a little bit. You may have to let some people in. You may have to take the mask off a little bit. And some of them might be a little surprised because I feel like some of this stuff you've been maybe not as above board about. And not that you have to share your everything with everyone, but some of your closest people, I don't know that they necessarily are aware of where you've been at on an emotional level. So, take the risk, open up. They're there for you. They want to help you. And I feel like that's the most important sort of message in all of this. You're not alone. You don't have to go through this alone. You've got people who can support you. Hopes and fears about this shift. What are you dreaming of becoming and what scares you about actually doing it? 10 of Wands. Yeah. Being overburdened, taken out by the veracity of your feelings and emotions, by the veracity of the the passion that you've been feeling one way or the other about a situation. And, this indicates to me you've been withholding or suppressing or not dealing with a number of things. And like, we can compartmentalize and put things in the closet of misfit toys for as long as we want. But eventually that closet of misfit toys gets overloaded. You open the door and all the toys fall out, right? So then you become overwhelmed. You become inundated. There's no choice but to deal with the mess, to deal with the issue. And so I feel like this makes a lot of sense, that this is what is coming up in the fear space. But at the same time, I want to say this is like rewards. Rewards. Yeah, it's burdens that go with the rewards, but it's rewards. So let's focus on the good. Let's focus on the fact that you had people in your life to be able to have these experiences, or you had the opportunities in your life and in your world to get you to a place where you're at right now. Would you do it differently? Perhaps. This has been a time of extremes, but we all need to bump into the extremes in order to understand where our limits are so that we can live, I want to say, more comfortably in the gray areas. We can expand and grow with intention. in more of those gray areas. And if we decide to go into the extreme, we know where our limit is. So it gives us more power. It empowers our life and it empowers our choices. So I want to say to you, like, I definitely feel like this is coming through because you are afraid that it's going to consume you. You know, the another analogy that I'm hearing is a lot of people get nervous about crying, like starting to cry. They resist crying because they're afraid if the tears once start, they're not going to be able to stop. And, you know, it's irrational. Of course you're going to stop at some point. It might take a really long time, but you are going to stop crying. You know, this too will pass, right? We're ever evolving. Things always change. So it's reminding yourself of that. Reminding yourself that everything changes. And when we talk about the law of immortality, coming back to this, you know, time is only of the essence for your full expression. You're here to fully express yourself, warts and all. The pain, the good, the bad, the indifferent, all of it. And this is what you're afraid of. But this is also, I feel, what is bringing you to the magic and the beauty of what is to come. You know, you have a lot going for you. There are these rewards. You have the skill set to be able to do all of this. Maybe now you're just recognizing maybe I don't need all 10. Maybe my sweet spot is 8. Maybe my sweet spot is 4. But look at all that I've created. You know, don't negate what got you here. Don't negate your work, your efforts, your skill set. All of this is here happening for you. It's just your guides are wanting to teach you the lesson so that you can move on to the next phase. And the next phase is going to be amazing. But we got to get those emotions aligned before you move into the next phase. Otherwise, you're going to just continue to live in distraction mode and you're not going to be able to receive. You're going to burn out. You're not going to be able to receive what is here for you. So if you stay on course this month in September, who will you be on the other side of this journey? What is the result of embracing the full cycle of death and rebirth? Yet another cup. Can't make this shit up, guys. Okay, so 4 of Cups. When we're talking about this, this as an outcome, I feel like what this is saying is rather than feeling despondent, rather than feeling a level of being held back and delay, it's bringing you back into a space of gratitude, paying attention to all that you have, kind of like what we were talking about here with the 10 of Wands, bringing you back into the space of, okay, all this other stuff was really painful. I'm dealing with it now, but I'm not landing at 0. I'm kind of landing at 4 now. And I'm recognizing, okay, maybe I don't need to go into all of this crazy again. Here's my new normal, and I can build from here. I feel also like, I mean, typically the 4 of Cups is not really a supportive card, but I'm feeling a lot of supportive energy coming from this card, that it is about going into a meditative space, connecting with yourself and source. And the comfort is going to come from this because you are coming from an emotional perspective. Remember, our feelings are neither true nor false. They simply are. And you're in the space of facing them and experiencing them in the way that they want to be experienced. It's not going to be super pleasant, but I don't feel like it's going to take you down to 0. I feel like there's only up. There's only up and out from here. And again, 4 is foundation. 4 is manifestation. So using the emotional space that you're now finding yourself in after kind of processing some of this stuff and landing at the 4, you're now going to be able to meditate on it. You're going to now be able to manifest using these feelings. How do I want to feel moving forward? What is it that I want to create for this next month or this next chapter of my life? Let me use these feelings and emotions that I've now kind of pared down. I've gotten to, sort of the core energy of it. Now let me use it to create the new. It's all about co-creation. And you are fire signs, right? So water is going to help to keep you from burning out. And that's what I feel this is all about. Wow. Sagittarius. Whew. I just want to send you a big virtual energetic hug. September is going to be kind of an interesting month, but you've got this. It's not going to be as bad as you think. I feel like what you want to keep reminding yourself of is the only way out is through. But when I go through, it happens faster than the way that I'm doing it right now. Delay is no longer appropriate. I have to move forward. But moving forward is going to give me a new foundation, one that feels better and one that is going to be more conducive and more in alignment with what I am building and creating for myself. If you need any kind of help or support, please click on the link in the description below, book a session with me. I would love to help you out through this. Otherwise, as always, sending you guys so much love, so much support. And until we see you for another episode of Transformational Tarot or Black Feather Couture Divining a VIP Life, I'm going to say transform well.